Okay, we're working on project number 13 here, which is going to be a spreadsheet, which is great because spreadsheets are easy. So let's just go ahead and in order to open project 13, just going to go ahead and open that up. And remember to click here on the blue and then work on it there. Okay, I've had a few students who have been having trouble getting stuff turned in. So just be sure you click on this here. It's going to pop out into its own sheet and you're going to work on it there. Okay, so let's take a look at what they're telling us to do here. Okay, we open a spreadsheet. Okay, so the next thing it tells us to do is key in the data. If you're wondering where I'm at, I'm on page number 58. So I'm scrolling down here. I'm going to pause for just a minute. Okay, so they tell us to key in the data. So I'm just scrolling down to the data, and the data is on page number 61. And this one's going to be really easy. We're just going to go ahead and type a few things in here. And then to go down, I'm just going to hit the enter key, and that moved me down one row. Annual interest rate. Good. I'm going to hit enter twice, a couple more times. That moved me to year to the blocks where I'm going to type in the word year. Then to move over to the right, I'm just going to press the tab key, beginning balance. This is the amount of money you had in the account when you started. And yes, I do realize balance only has one L. There we go, fixed. Tab over, simple interest earned. And again, SIMPLE. Not going to say why that's happened. And I hit tab again, ending balance. Now you may have noticed while I was doing this, now there I hit enter, and I can just go ahead and put in 1, enter 2, enter 3 to put in the years. You may have noticed while I was doing this that there was a little bit of stuff being overwritten here. That's because as long as there's nothing in that cell, I'm going to purposely clear this one out, Control X. As long as there's nothing there, the cell before it shows under. When there is something in it, Control V. Oops. Control V. I'll just undo. When there is something there, it goes over it, but it's only over it. It's not replacing it. So I'm just going to move here between the B and the C. You can see where my cursor is, and double click. Move here between the C and the D, double click, and between the D and the E, and between the A and the B. Okay, so all of those are done. Now that was, and I need to move this out of the way because we're going to do something down here in just a moment. So that was this page here. We're going to do one more. We're going to do a sheet 2. So before I do that, I'm just going to select everything here. And the way I did that, you can see of my mouse there, is I pressed and held the left mouse button down and drug to this cell right here. Then I'm just going to copy. You can press Control C to copy. You can right click and select copy, and you can come up here to edit and click on copy. It really doesn't matter which one you do. They all do the exact same thing. In fact, if you noticed, it even shows that the shortcut for that is Control C. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is open a new worksheet down here. Okay. We do that by clicking on this plus right here. But when I was in just the right spot, you saw it said add sheet. I'm going to click on that. Now it says sheet 2. Now I'm adding the word video. You do not need to do this. Okay. Now I'm going to click up here in cell A1 and I'm going to paste. Again, I could press Control V. I can right click and click on paste. I could have come up here to edit and clicked on paste. All of them would have done the exact same thing. Now, we're going to change the word simple interest earned. Note I clicked on it right there. And I'm up here in the formula bar where I'm going to make the edit, and I'm going to replace that word with compound. Compound interest earned. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is show you how we change the size of all of these columns at once. If this doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. Do it the way we did on the previous worksheet. I'm going to just come right here near the A. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down. I'm going to carefully select all 4 of these columns. Then I'm going to right click, and I come down here to resize columns A through D, fit to data, OK. Both methods do the exact same thing. You may feel one's easier than the other. Okay, now on both of these, or on this one here, and this is our first one, our simple interest example, we have a principal of 1,000. Remember, that's the amount of money you put into the account. The annual interest you'll be earning will be 10%, and the percent sign is a shifted 5. Good. And down here at beginning balance equals that. Okay. No, we do not want autofill. Click on the X, reject the selection. Okay, so what you saw me do was I typed the equal sign, and then I came up here and clicked on B1 so that I can be sure that these two numbers are exactly the same. And if I decide to change that number later, the worksheet still works. Hold it, I'm on the compound one. That's the 8%. Sorry, guys. 8%. Good. The simple one is the other. So I'm going to come up here again. Principal, 1,000. Enter. This is the one where I'm going to put in 10%. Okay. And then I'm just going to come down here to this cell right here, Bravo 5, click on equals, and go ahead and click on Bravo 1. And reject the suggestion. Okay, because we're going to do something different there. Okay, at this point, we've keyed in the data, and I believe that was went way too far. I'm in the book here if you're wondering what I'm doing. That was step number 4 on page number 58. And that was the last thing on page 58. We're now on page number 59. Okay, they actually want us now to rename these sheets. And you might have seen how I did this. And if you didn't, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to double click on that sheet name right there. Now, again, because I've already got the word video, I'm not getting rid of that word, but I'm going to type in simple interest. This is step number 5. Okay, then interestingly enough, they don't have us do that elsewhere. Format cell B1 as currency displaying 0 decimal places. Okay, so I'm going to click here on B1. I'm going to click on the Format as Currency button. If it turns out you don't have this button, you would come up here to Format Number, and currency would be right there, okay? But you should have that button. Now, to show 0 decimal places, you see that it shows 2 decimal places. I'm going to come up here to these zeros right here with the arrows under them. I'm just going to click on that twice, and now you can see that it's showing 0 decimal places. And you probably saw that B5 did the exact same thing as I was doing this. Okay, so now use autofill to complete the list of years. Okay, well, we typed them in. What they mean by showing autofill, I do want to show you that, is if I wanted this to go to 10 instead, okay, I just click on that. I go down here to the autofill button. The little square box on the bottom right-hand corner is called the autofill button. I'm going to float my cursor over that and just sort of pull down, and this is Google. So, undo. Okay, in Google, I need at least 2. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that. The reason Google needs at least 2 is it needs to see what your sequence is going to be, how you're going to be counting. Okay, the next thing we're going to do here, let's see. In cell Charlie 5, use a formula to calculate the simple interest earned for year 1. Are you sure they want us in Charlie 5? Okay. Charlie 5, duh. Simple interest earned. Okay. I'm just taking a look here to see exactly what they want going on here. So, equals. And here we're using something kind of new, which is the dollar sign. Dollar sign. So that's a shift 4. The dollar sign 1. Okay. Times. So we're multiplied by, and that's the asterisk. It's either a shifted 8 on your keyboard or directly above the 9 on your number pad. And then dollar sign B, dollar sign 2. I'll explain what this does in just a second. Dollar sign B, dollar sign 2. Okay, now what this does is you may remember that when we incremented in the past, okay, when we simply grabbed this and filled down, well, I'll go ahead and do that here, and I'll show you the difference over here, okay? So, just go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same and on this one here. And what was that here? That was B1 times B2. So equals B1 times B2, enter. Now, if I do it this way, you get very different stuff. Here's why. Because the dollar sign keeps it from incrementing. So now I went down to the next one and you see that it still says dollar sign B1, or dollar sign B, dollar sign 1, dollar sign B, dollar sign 2. Okay. The dollar sign keeps it from incrementing. Let's look at this, what this one says. This one says 2 and 3, 3 and 4. 4 and 5. And obviously, those are not usable numbers. And that's why it threw an error at us. Over here, by putting in that dollar sign, we created a fixed or a static reference. Okay. So we didn't move where those cells are looking at. And that's why we use that dollar sign there. Kind of wish the book had explained it to you before they did it, but they didn't. Okay, in cell delta 5. I feel like they're missing something here. Anyways, we'll see if they go back to it or something. Key in equals sum. So equals sum, S-U-M. Okay, remember sum is going to add something up. And in this case, it's going to add up B5 and C5. Sort of an odd way of doing this, I'll tell you. Normally, I would have just used the plus sign, and we'll do that on the next one. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to position my cursor. And again, I'm showing you the way I do this. I'm going to position my cursor so the tip of the cursor is in the middle of cell B5. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down, and I'm going to drag to the right. Now I've selected both those cells. You see that they're both already entered there for us. Enter. Okay, and that did that for us. So at the end of year 1, we have 110. Now, what do they want us to do next? Use equals D5. Enter. Okay. Now, use the formula to calculate the beginning of year 2. Yep, equals. Now I'm just going to fill these down. Fill these down. Oops. Okay, so basically we're done with this one. And it's showing us how this balance increases. So again, if we were to carry this down that far, so you've got a number here. Oops, Control Z. I wasn't reminding this is Google. Excel works a little bit different, just to let you know when I mumble about, oh yeah, this is Google. So that gives you an idea as to how much you have after 15 years. Okay, not bad. You turned your $1,000 into $2,500. Great. Okay, so now we're going to look at compounded interest. Okay. Actually, just to tell you, it says for me to go down and autofill to B14. So it really wanted you to just go 10 years, but that's okay. Okay, now we're going to go to, hopefully, the next one here. So pause this for a minute. Okay, like I said, they wanted us just to do this to the 14 here. So just to show you what I did here to get rid of that, I'm going to purposely undo. So, or I was somewhere like that, okay? So what I did here is I just went and selected everything from 15 down. Oops, missed it. I selected everything from 15 down and hit backspace. Okay. Then what they want us to do is out here in B16, type in total, tab over, and here, now this is a place where sum actually makes a lot more sense. Equals. Now, you can see here that it guessed what we probably want to do is add up the stuff above it. C4 is not that needed, but it's not going to actually mess with our numbers any. So I might as well just hit tab. Okay, and you can see that our total was $1,000. Now, because I want this to be currency also, just it looks silly to have 2 different sets of numbers there, I'm just going to click on one of these that is currency. I'm going to click on Format Painter. We did Format Painter earlier in a different tool, and I'm going to click there. And Format Painter works pretty much the same in all tools. Okay, and let's see here now. Next thing it wants me to do is format cell C5 to D6 or B5 to D16. as currency showing 2 decimal places. Okay, that seems a little redundant. They won't. I think they just want you to see what these buttons do. Okay, that's what they do. Not really a big difference. Okay, now in this and next we're going to be going to the next worksheet here. So this is what our first worksheet looked like. Go to the next one. Pause here for a minute. Okay, we're on step number 17 on page number 49, and here it wants us to start with sheet 2. And the first thing they want us to do is rename sheet 2 to compound interest. So I'm going to go back here and just type in. And you do not need the word video. That's there for my notes. Okay, so let's take a look at what they want us to do next. Format cell B1 as currency, displaying 0 decimal places. I'm going to click here on cell B1, currency, 0 decimal places. Great. Okay, what is the next thing they want us to do? Use autofill to complete the list of years A5 to A14. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and select these. Remember, I move my cursor to the center of the cell, press and hold the left mouse button down, drag down. I've got those cells selected now. I'm going to come right here to the autofill button. That's the little square box on the bottom right-hand corner. Press and hold the left mouse button down, and I'm going to pull down to the center of cell A14. Then I'll release the mouse button. And then it's going to just autofill the rest of those in for me. Okay, so let's see, step 20. Okay, we're now on step number 21 on page number 60, at the very top of page number 60. In cell C5, we're going to go ahead and type in B5. Notice this time we did not have the $sign, and I'll show you the difference of what's going on there in just a few minutes. Times $B, $2. $B, $2. Okay. Oops, and you know what I didn't do here? I didn't put the equal sign in the beginning. All formulas and functions begin with an equal sign. So if you notice that now they changed colors, it's now assuming that we're working with this. Okay, next, what am I looking at? Anything else they want? Nope. Enter. Good. $80. Oh no, it's less money than on the other one. Okay, now over here, and I will admit I'm not 100% sure why they're doing it this way. I wouldn't do it this way. If they say to type in equals sum B5 C5, okay, and that is the exact same as equals B5 plus C5. If you see that, you can go ahead and press tab. If you didn't see that in that cell, you just need to type in B5 plus C5. Why they did it that way? To be honest, I'm not 100% clear. I mean, it just seems like an odd way to do that. Okay, autofill to copy, and nope, we're missing one thing. Year 2 equals year 2 starts with this amount of money. Okay, that's where the difference starts occurring. Now I'm going to grab these two here, and I'm going to fill them down to there. Okay, now I'm going to grab all 3 of these. Remember to do that, I go to the center of the cell, press and hold the left mouse button down, go across. Do not be trying to type in the numbers. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and fill all the way down to this row right here, row 14. You see I'm in the center of the cell when I finished. Don't be trying to get right on the edges as you do this. I always see kids trying to do that. Okay, you might notice that I believe you have more money. See the difference there, okay? And we'll go into what's going on there in just a few moments. Okay, and here I'm assuming they want you to again type in the word total. Oh, the first thing they want you to do now is to select from B5 to delta 16. And they want you to go ahead and again turn that into 2 decimal places. Okay, and let's come over here in Bravo 16. We're going to type in the word total. Press the tab key to move over. Type an equal sign. It's guessing what we want. There's actually nothing wrong with this. We could go ahead and change that to say, so we can hit enter. Then we'll click on this, click up here, because it is capturing this, and sometimes that makes students a little bit uncomfortable. We can go ahead and change that to say C5. It's not actually going to change the number in the slightest, okay? And let's see here. Okay. Now, comment as to what was going on here with that dollar sign. This is a better place to show you. Here you see it says B5, B2. Okay, so I'm going to click up here and you can see the cells it's looking at. It's looking at this one and this one. Now I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to come over here to this one. This one is now looking at this cell right here and this one. So this never changes, okay? And that's what the dollar sign does for us. It keeps it from incrementing because sometimes we want the numbers to increment, like here. Sometimes we don't want the number to increment, like here. And that's what that dollar sign is doing for us, okay? It's creating a static reference. Okay, the final step here, just to let you know, we're on step number 30 on page 60. They want us to create yet one more worksheet. So I'm going to click on Add Sheet, double click on that. They want this one named Analysis, A-N-A-L-Y-S-I-S, A-N-A-L-Y-S-I-S. You do not need to add the word video. That's for me. Okay. Now, all they want us to do here is to merge some cells and apply text wrap first. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down in A1 and drag all the way to E1. If you're having trouble doing that, click in cell A1, hold the Shift key down and click in, E1. And they both do the exact same thing. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Merge Cells. We've used that before. And then we're going to come up here to Format, and they want you to go to Wrapping, Wrap Text. Now, in these cells, what they want you to do, and I'm not going to do it for you because I don't want people just copying my answer, is they want an answer to this question. Would you select simple or compound interest in this scenario, and why? Now, the scenario, we're going to go back up to the top here, okay? And that's on page number 48. The scenario is this. You've saved $1,000 and plan to invest in a simple interest account or compound interest account. The simple interest account earns 10% each year, while the compound interest account earns 8% interest. You want to determine which interest rate will make you more money with the same deposit amount, okay, over a period of 10 years. That's what you're answering here is, would you choose simple or compound and why? Okay, and that's the assignment.